As the 2026 general elections loom at our doorstep, once again we witnessed a dark chapter in the history of Uganda, that is the excessive use of force by security operatives, particularly those belonging to the Joint Anti-Terrorism Task Force known as JAT, against opposition supporters, especially those aligned to the National Unity Platform. Many of them were injured, dozens were arrested by these security operatives. Now, this raises concerns about the role of these security operatives in the democratic processes of our country. It also raises questions: why do we have these cycles of election violence repeating whenever we have any electoral process in this country? And this has happened since the time of the post-independence era, the post-colonial era. We have been having these electoral violences in this country. It also raises questions about the multi-party system of politics in this country. What is its future if we continue like this? But more so importantly is that, can we have a discussion? Can we have a dialogue where the political actors can come on the same table and have a dialogue, have a discussion that prioritizes the peace of Uganda over the political party interests? My name is Nahoho Rashid Matselele, and this is the Matselele Connect. My name is Nahoho Rashid Matselele, and once again I welcome you to the Matselele Connect, a podcast where we dive deep into the pressing issues affecting Uganda and other parts of the world. Now, in today's episode, it is going to be centered on the Kawempe Bye-elections. Of course, there is a lot that is going on, and among the issues that has been raised is the issue of security operatives and their confrontation between them and the opposition supporters, particularly those from the National Unity Platform. Now, of course, this is not the first time that we have had such an election where we see violence. We have seen this, some of us, we have grown up seeing this in every election that happens in this country. I think ever since 2005, that was on 28th July 2005, when Uganda decided that now let's go for a multi-party system. We have never witnessed any general elections where we see that it is peaceful, where people are free to go on the polling stations and vote. We are always seeing chaotic scenes, arrest of people, people throwing stones at police officers caning people. At many times people have lost their lives, people have been arrested, and especially the last election that we had in 2021, we witnessed a lot of chaotic situations that even after before the elections, we had what we call the November riots, and 54 people lost their lives. And even during the elections, we saw journalists being harassed. Many of them, their lives were never changed since then. We have journalists like Kasiria Ashraf, who was shot by a rubber bullet, and up to now his life has never been restored because of what he went through. And we are seeing the same things happening now, like in the Kawempe North, and such chaotic scenes are happening at a time when we are preparing for next year's 2026 general elections. And one of the things that have been raised by people, especially from the legislature, and this has been from all sides, including the national resistance movement, people in the establishment, is that why are we having this cycle of election violence repeating now and then, and this excessive force? What does it mean for the future of our country, and what does it mean to the multi-party politics in this country? Has multi-party politics turned into a curse than being a blessing? Because when Ugandans decided that now let's have political parties participate in elections, and so that people can have free will to express their views in choosing leaders, then if elections now have become so serious like this in this country, that in any election it is like a war between citizens and the security agencies, then why should we continue with this? Maybe democracy was not meant for our country. That's why when I was watching the Honorable Saro Pendi on the floor of Parliament saying that if we cannot handle multi-party system, then let's push for reforms and we have one-party system, such that we do away with all these chaos that we always see whenever an election comes. Otherwise, if we continue like this, then it means that the peace of this country is at stake. Let's watch some of these reactions from these politicians.
Right Honorable Speaker, since I watched the news that a prospective member of Parliament can come from nomination and is pulled off a motorbike, thrown onto the ground. Right Honorable Speaker, we have a history as a country. We cannot afford to see this happening in the NRM government, where we all rejoiced and thanked the president for liberating this country. Who are these officers? When I heard the police, the spokesperson for Honorable, former Felix Kulaije, speaking and saying they don't know these people. Now, how can people have guns, have sticks, beat up Ugandans, and nobody is arresting them? And they continued with this even the next day. I have raised the issue of officers covering their faces. If you are not criminals, why are you covering your faces? Why don't you want to be seen by the Ugandans? Right Honorable Speaker, I want to request, we moved away from the governments that were not democratic. Our constitution obligates the state to ensure free participation by all Ugandans. They are free to participate in politics and elect the person that they want. If that is not the way we want to go, can we scrap off these elections, Right Honorable Speaker? Can we go back to the movement to no party state, and we stand on individual merit? Because the parties are now, we are getting divided around parties. If political parties are an issue, Right Honorable Speaker, we are requesting for constitution amendments. Can we have constitution amendments here before we go into elections? We are silent, and yet the days are drawing closer. Can we discuss these matters?
Mr. Speaker, I'm not trying to impeach your guidance on the statement of Thursday, but I think we are leaders in this country, and we should be well educated as to where we are. And I saw my very honorable brother, the Honorable Bahati, very constrained to no end, to trying to hazard an explanation. Right Honorable Speaker, from the last election, those who committed crimes against citizens have never been brought to book, including the gentleman who shot a journalist, Kasirye Ashraf. He's well known, well documented. Kasirye is exiled in the US. The gentleman who shot him was promoted. So we have to speak to ourselves, probably put a big mirror in our faces and agree as to what we are dealing with. I'm very sure the minister will come and make the usual statements. The Kawempe Bye-election is a rehearsal of hard times ahead of us. And I pray I will be around, Right, Honourable Speaker, to remind this House and the honourable members acquainting with violence and state violence that it will not help anybody. So whatever comes on Thursday, there's no rational explanation as to the presence of the military in a by-election. Right, Honourable Speaker, I pray that if we maintain UPDF representation in Parliament, we amend the law, and the army votes their MPs from whatever they are in their barracks, and then we see the kind of democracy they exercise. So there's an explanation, and I want to invite this House, Honourable Speaker, with your guidance, that the commitment should not just be about the minister. We need to understand as a people what we are dealing with. We are dealing with an actual commission that is disempowered. They can do nothing. My brother here, Okupa, could be frog-marched. You'll be frog-marched. You'll be beaten. You'll be disabled. The pretense must stop. If we are intentional on building a democracy, we must speak to what we are dealing with. If you don't want elections, do away with them and rule by martial law. So there's no pretense about statements. It's simply illegality, it's simply impunity, it's been incubated, it's been accepted, and people think it's the norm. As long as you have power, you are powerful, you can get away with murder. People have gotten away with murder. In fact, murder rewards with promotion. National Speaker, you ordered for the minister to come and make a statement on missing Ugandans. The days passed. It's normal. So what about beating some heads in Kawempe out of their wits? Break a few skulls and the day passes. It's become normal. And the House of Parliament, they're supposed to be the firewall of the country, is looking on and lamenting. So, Right Honourable Speaker, I am not waiting for the Thursday statement because I know it's business as usual. They will look at you. In fact, they think they will even sneer at the Speaker. The Speaker will do nothing unless all of us, from both sides of the aisle, say, stop this, this is our country. We shall have ourselves to blame, I'm afraid. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Now, honourable colleagues.
Yes, those are some of the reactions from Saro Pendi, Honourable Matthias Mpuga, and many others. People have come out and asking, why are we continuing in this state of affairs? And I think this is something now every one of us should think, because we have had enough of this election violence, and the cost of this election violence are the consequences to national security, to national peace as Uganda, are really, really huge. And I think it is high time the political actors in this country to now rethink their strategies. Whenever an election comes, it is like a war. We have made politics so serious in this country as if there is nothing else. Whenever a season of politics comes, it takes the whole of our minds, and we forget everything and we speak whatever we want. And when you see what is going on social media, the exchange of words and you see that emotions are so high, leaders are attacking each other, and you really worry and say, if we continue like this, then what future do we have as a country? Are we going to be now having verbal exchanges on the on social media, and you see that such and such a leader has attacked so and so. Sometimes it even amounts to abuses, and we call this is politics, and this is leadership. And are we really happy to see our country taking such a direction? Behind all these are the youths. We are in a country whereby over 70% of the population are the young generation. And actually, according to the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, 72.3% of the population in Uganda is below 30. And to a certain extent, due to the individualistic ambitions and interests of all political parties in this country, they have, instead of helping the young people to see that they improve their livelihoods, they are trying to exploit them whenever any political season comes. And I think this is so dangerous. Recently, I've seen that President Ruto and Raila Odinga, they've signed a memorandum of association to work together. And when you watch such things in the media and you ask yourself, we as Ugandans, when are we going to reach that level that our politicians, our leaders are willing to put aside their political differences and then come together on the same table and say, okay, let's work together for the good of Uganda? This is something which is lacking in the politics of Uganda, is that we think as you are from NRM, you are either NOP, you are either DP, you are either UPC, you belong to a certain party, but you are not a Ugandan. And we have built an environment that if you are in opposition, you don't have to agree to anything that comes from the establishment. And if you are in the establishment, in the ruling party, then you don't have to listen to anything that comes from the opposition, something which I call witchcraft, something which I call extremism. Ideological differences should not divert us from national interests as Ugandans. And because of these political immaturity games, we as a country, we are losing a lot. It is high time that as a country, we want to see leaders who are talking peace. We are tired of seeing leaders having verbal exchanges in the media, abusing each other, attacking each other, threatening each other. How long are we going to be in this situation? So I think as young people, we have also to wake up. We should know that not every politician is an angel. Some of these politicians exploit us, and then after that, they will dump us. And this has happened many times. We have I've read about many youths who have been exploited by politicians, promised heaven on earth, and after they have been dumped. If we don't come back to our senses, as more and more people are hurt, as more injustices are meted against the ordinary citizens, we shall be sitting on a time bomb, and when it bursts, we shall regret. And this is where cultural leaders, they have to come out and play a role in this. Religious leaders and cultural leaders should not take sides, but they should spread a message of unity, of bringing people on the same table and saying, you know what, let us set aside our differences and sit on the same table and discuss the future of Uganda. We need a Uganda that is peaceful, a Uganda that is prosperous. I don't think any of our politicians who are alive today will be happy to leave a legacy full of bloodshed. And I don't think if such a politician remains alive will be happy to see chaotic scenes that they left behind. If you liked this video, please don't forget to share. And if you have any question and a comment, please don't hesitate to go down in the comment box. My name is Nahoho Rashid Matselele, and this is the Matselele Connect.